Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. We're going to be talking about Helldivers 2, Wingspan, Paladins, and For the King 2. But first... Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Oh my God. Denny, what the fuck? Please, I'm doing the Oh, my... Please, okay? Tens of people listen to this. This is really important. Yeah, dude, just... Yeah, he came over and he can't stop orchestrating the fucking Dune 2 soundtrack. It's crazy. He stole Nick, and Nick's finally back. Anyways, my name is Christian.
I'm Bobby.
I'm Nick. I'm wondering how sandworms fuck.
I'm guessing it's an egg and fertilization process, not a human-like sex process. Or because they're worms, they may be hermaphroditic and just split.
Oh, I like that idea, dude.
Interesting. Has everyone seen Dune 2 at this point? Nods for yes.
I still haven't seen it. It's so hard. We've been trying to get like babysitter, but
gotcha.
But somebody did volunteer last night. So
we sold Vivian, and it's so much easier now.
You did not. We heard her talking. It was so cute. Dude.
Yeah, she was cute while we were playing Helldivers 2. Awesome. Okay. Bobby, may you do the plug?
Sure, I'll do a plug. First of all, I want to acknowledge and just say that I like this like low-key Sunday morning energy we got going here. It's a total different vibe than when we record this later in the day. Everybody's just like sipping on coffee, just having a good time, taking it nice and slow. Yeah. But yeah, I do want to plug the Steam Curator. So we are getting a little more active on our Steam Curatorship, which is where you can go to see games that we recommend. So the games that we really like, we write a quick little paragraph about them on why we like them, and you can check that out. That is on our, how do they get to that? Our Steam group page. I mean, you can go to dlgaming.net and everything's linked there. But
I put a direct link on the good old dlgaming.net, but in this episode, I'll just link it in the show notes as well. Yeah. So you can click your own right onto it.
Maybe by the time you click on that, I will have done my part, and then the interesting ones will be on there. But until then...
Yeah, right now, it's pretty boring.
Yeah, right now, it's just a wasteland of
Well,
words.
The other thing, too, is I feel like we should be doing newer games like from here forward. So, like, Christian, you recommended some games that I should write about, and one of them was Dark Forces 2. Nobody cares about that. Dude. Nobody wants even 200 words on why I like Dark Forces 2.
People care, okay? The game is near and dear to your heart. I was actually looking at a WordPress plugin that automatically will pull the reviews to our site. So we could do like a carousel of our latest reviews if you go to dlgaming.net. Not yet, but I have to install it.
Hey, Bobby, there's a Dark Forces remake, and I sent it to you. Is that old news?
I think so. Didn't we talk about that on the podcast?
Yeah, but like it just came out on Steam.
Oh, it's out now. Okay. I remember when they announced it. I was excited about it, but I mean, it's Dark Forces 1. That's
right.
Yeah.
That's child's play,
Bobby.
Yeah. Okay. On this podcast, we ping things. And going with the Dune 2 theme, at least in my heart, I've seen the movie twice now. It's still good. Dune Awakening Direct. So there's an MMO. They're calling it an MMO survival crafting game called Dune Awakening. It's by Funcom, and they had a Dune Direct. So I think Directs are cool because you're making your own noise and you're getting your base as excited as possible. You're not relying on like, you know, an E3 or a summer showcase or like a Steam festival or something. You're going out there, you're recording something, you're putting it out. And what they did was pretty cool. They didn't give a lot of details, but with this MMO thing, they're calling it an MMO survival crafting. And I feel like, you know, Conan Exiles was like 64 players. And I believe they said that was an MMO. I don't know. What do you guys feel like the threshold for the first M in MMO is? I'm thinking at least 2,000. That's like an MMO.
If Conan Exiles is an MMO, then fucking Squad is an MMO because it's 50 on 50. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, no, an MMO is more than 2,000 people.
Yeah, so they didn't release, as far as sharding. Don't get me started on sharding. It might be an MMO, just a multiplayer online game. I would be very excited if it was a true MMO. And they also they released all this press over the weekend that was like we received inspiration from Star Wars Galaxies, and they have this architect profession. So in all these survival crafting games, you see someone's cool base. You're like, oh my god, how did they make that base? Basically, the architect profession can take the blueprints of that base and sell it to other players, which I thought was cool because not everyone has the time to do something cool. But now you have the blueprints and you have like, this see-through Fortnite construction grid that you can put your materials on and grow it that way. So, anyways,
Yeah, if you have a major mechanic in a game like base building, you should have a class that specializes in it. I think that kind of seems like something a lot of companies have overlooked. I think that's a really strong move, actually.
it's a great move.
Yeah. So I looked up Funcom just to remind me what they've made so far.
Yes.
So Mutant Year Zero, Secret World Legends, Conan Exiles, Dune Awakening, Metal Hellsinger, Dune Spice Warriors, and Anarchy Online, which I don't know about it. I've never heard of Anarchy Online. But not a terrible lineup here.
No, they make good games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where are we on Exiles, Bobby? Where's that standing right now? You know?
I don't know. I never played that one.
Oh, I got it confused with the RTS one that you played.
Yeah, Conan Unconquered. No, Exiles was well, first of all, I don't think they make traditional MMOs anymore, right? Like there's not a lot of just WoW clones out there because those have all came and fell. So when they say
New World,
MMO, they usually have like MMO qualities or something. I'm sure there's like some popular Korean ones out there or something that are big in like the PC bonds or something that I don't know about, but I don't know. I feel like they have traditional MMO qualities in them, but they always do something else. So like this is going to mix in survival crafting, which is weird because there's no trees to chop down on this planet, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So that's going to be
There's spice to suck.
Yeah, you're just gonna
everything's just made out of sand.
just gonna scoop sand.
You're gonna tap the worm eggs.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So Dune Awakening, I'm excited because I'm a big Dune fan, but definitely looking for them to put the M in MMO. Bobby, what do you got? What are you pinging today?
There's an update to Stardew Valley, update 1.6. I thought we were done with updates on Stardew Valley, but it turns out the developer took a break from his new game, The Haunted Chocolatier, and he spent some time doing it's an interesting update. It's more like a revision. So he had said that in order to experience everything in this update, you would need to start a new save and start over because it includes a lot of new things, like new items, new late game content, but also just new lines of dialogue. It affects the story in different ways. So really, if you just try it with an existing save, you're not going to get everything out of it. It doesn't look like as big of an update as 1.5 was. That had a lot of stuff in it, but I'm surprised to see this, honestly. I mean, I had pretty much saturated the content in Stardew Valley. I don't know if this is going to bring me back, but it is kind of a surprise to see that this game is still getting updated after, so much further after its release. I mean, when was Stardew Valley originally released?
Isn't he working on a new project right now anyways?
Yeah, that's the Haunted Chocolatier.
It's crazy that he hasn't hired an army of programmers to do this stuff for him. Like it's crazy that he's just like
No, he did.
Okay.
Some other people stepped in and they handled a lot of like the multiplayer stuff. That was another team that came in and helped them because eventually the game got so big and it was so much work. This is all in that book. There's a book that was written about
Blood, Sweat, and Pixels by good old Jason Schreier, right? Is that how you say his name?
Yes. Yeah, he talks about the development of a lot of games and he interviews the developers. And Eric Barone from Stardew Valley is one of them. But yeah.
Hats off on that title, by the way. What a great title. Like it's a perfect title for that book.
Yeah.
Oh,
wait, what's the two dots?
Egregious long
long
subtitle that every video game.
What's the subtitle? Blood, the triumphant, turbulent stories behind how video games are made. It's so long. Yeah. All right.
Whatever. Yeah, he blew his load at the beginning of that. It just went down.
That's literally every book on video games, though, is like catchy title and then a full-on like like
Paragraph.
elevator pitch of what it's about. Like
Yeah.
2 sentences.
I don't know, man. You know, the publishing houses, they know what sells, I guess,
True.
or they think
Yeah.
they do, you know,
Yeah.
and they pressure you into fucking, no, people aren't going to know what this is.
Yeah. And then idiots
Yeah.
like us read it and think we know the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Fallout, all up in the news lately. Nick, there was a new Fallout. I got about halfway through it right before the show, and it looks good, man. It continues to look good. That actress has the biggest eyes ever, by the way, whoever she is.
Anya
Uh,
Taylor Joy
so-
or something.
as far as the trailer goes, it's shown a lot of things that people are thinking that they're, I don't want to say thinking, maybe perceiving as really good. Like no one actually knows how good the show is until like the first episode
Right.
comes out.
Of course.
So it's,
Well, it doesn't look
it
terrible.
it doesn't, but what's nice is that there are practical effects, right? Like the power suit armor being practical. It's not just CGI. It looks very interesting. I think the overall universe being portrayed looks good. Like it looks like Fallout. It doesn't look like some weird offshoot or like Avatar, the original movie, looked like for Avatar. Like it does not look like an offshoot of that. Now, depending on the story and like the characters, that I think that's what makes Fallout, right? Is all of the characters, the interesting things that you see in the game, and the trailer opens up with a pretty interesting character, you know, talking to a vault dweller, and she's like, "I thought all you dumbasses died," and so it's like that's very Fallout to just be like, "I thought," like just to instantly insult somebody, but I think that this show is going to get a lot of non-Fallout fans to watch the show, as well as obviously Fallout fans to watch it. Just because, like, I have a couple of cousins that don't play video games, and they were like, "Do you know anything about Fallout?" And I'm like, "Boy, how do I do?"
Do you know anything about Fallout? Nick goes back, gets his
As
encyclopedia
I'm
out. What would you like to know?
A campfire
as I-
explodes out of nowhere. Sit down, everybody.
Yeah.
We're gonna have ourselves a little chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very interesting story because it tells a story before the bombs and after the bombs, regarding one of the main characters. And I think the 3 main characters, one is a ghoul, who's like a gunslinger, one is a vault dweller, and then one is a Brotherhood of Steel knight, I'm guessing, because he wears power armor, and usually they don't give those to just like normal people. So it's going to be interesting. I'm down to watch it. The thing that I'm super excited about the show in general is the fact that all of the episodes come out at once. They aren't doing timed releases. All episodes are being released on April 11th. So
Why do you like
it's gonna be
that?
interesting. I like being able to binge a show. Like right now, I'm not watching Shogun only because I just want to watch 4 or 5 episodes in a row before I go to bed.
Oh, right.
It's a problem.
I prefer it as well because when you have the memory of a fruit fly, like next week you're like, "Oh, what happened last week?"
They have a recap and all team. Well, I get it. I don't like it because I'm too online, and so by the time I've watched the second episode, the whole plot has been spoiled, and I'll like scroll across a meme and I'll be like, "Well, great." Yeah.
You know, apparently, this is not a plug, by the way. Opera GX, you can block certain keywords, so you can block all news about like Fallout or whatever and things like that. So like if you go to a site that contains the word Fallout or anything instance about the story, you can it just blocks it for you.
Oh, that's cool. I've been meaning to look back at Opera. They have a pretty funny social media account that I wish to emulate. Yeah.
But
Okay.
Amelia, you know, I talked about the Fallout TV show. Oddly enough, the same thing that came out the same day for the trailer is the Fallout Commander decks. You know,
I don't know how much oddly that was or timed. You know, I don't.
That was a joke.
Oh, gotcha. Can't tell with you. So I got them today. I haven't opened even the Amazon box. Speaking of Amazon, we canceled Amazon. We were spending $1,000 a month on Amazon.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah,
What?
so you wonder why I work so hard, man. So we just cut it out.
Jeff,
And now
you're like a line item in Jeff Bezos. It's like end of the year. He's like, yes, the Marquez family. has
The red
given-
alert sounds when he cancels the account. Get Marquez back on the system now.
Yeah.
I would have told you guys I was going to do it, but it would have been insider trading because I dropped 5
Yeah.
points after.
Exactly. Yeah.
Amazon crashed.
No, but I got
$300
my
a
I got my
share.
cards yesterday, and I'm pretty excited about them. I haven't opened the box yet. I think I have sleeves. It's like this is one of those things where it has to go straight from box to sleeve directly, for sure.
So Leslie reminded me when I ordered the Fallout decks, and because I ordered them like 3 weeks ago, and she's like, "Don't you have to order sleeves and deck boxes too?" Because I was like, they're only like $150. And she's like, "Don't you have to order sleeves and boxes?" And I'm like a super snob about sleeves and boxes. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Fuck! Now I got to drop another $180."
Yeah,
But yeah,
you got
yeah.
deck stuff, man. Like I randomly bought my first commander deck. I don't know, 3 years ago or something. I think I talked about this, but I was looking it up for some other reason. I just wanted, because it got mixed up. Some cards got mixed up, so I had to look up a deck list to make sure the 100 cards were all there. And then I see the value of it, and it's like 3 times what I paid for it. And I'm like,
Yep.
oh,
Yeah.
shit.
So commander decks, even the Fallout ones, because these are legal in Commander, like across the board, and there's some of them are legal in Modern. These cards, people will just pay the whole price of the deck for just one card.
Legal cards? What happens if you play illegal cards? Do the magic police show up?
Yeah, they kick you out of the tournament. I've actually been to a tournament where someone did use an illegal card, and he got disqualified and banned from the tournament.
Drama, dude.
He convinced 3 people that it was still legal, and then
Wow.
And then when I saw him playing against a teammate of mine, I was like, "Isn't that card not legal anymore as of like 2 weeks ago?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like,
Oh, nerd
"All
fight.
right, man."
Dude, I was this
And then-
guy's like magic sidekick for a while. He was like, he
Magic
drove around.
sidekick.
He drove around in a Volkswagen bus, and he had tons of cards in there. And he would drive around to all the tournaments and win a lot of them. And I was just there, helping him in whichever way I could. And anyway, he had fake Type 1 cards. So the Power 9, the most rarest cards ever, the $9,000 for the set or whatever it was. And he's like, and he got into a Type 1 tournament, and he was going to play with these fakes. And I'm talking to the tournament guy, and I was like, "Oh, but it's okay because Pete's playing with fakes." I didn't know that fakes weren't fucking allowed. He got kicked out, and he went to go sit down. And then somebody came and whispered him in his ear. It was so awkward for me, dude. Like I was red in the corner.
It's like a fucking movie.
He's like, "You told them what?" And I was like, I don't know, man. Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. By the way, they're
So
called
the magic
proxies.
police is real. All right.
The magic
It's
police
real,
is,
yeah.
and there's great shame in the magic. God damn.
A little bit more info on the decks, only because I have them in my hands right now, actually, and I've looked at a bunch of them. So unlike the Lord of the Rings decks, which are arguably the ones that are the best but also worst received, each commander deck that is across the multiverse, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, that features different IPs, they have a different set of unique cards that are from that universe, right? What that means is that you're never going to see Frodo Baggins being printed again, and it's going to be like from a different set. It's just not possible. The only way you can get is from the commander deck or whatever packages. So when these decks come out, people want to know how many unique cards are there, because it comes with a theme, right? You want to see as many things from that universe.
That's
in
why
the
you're
deck
here.
as
This is
possible.
why we came to the dance.
Exactly. So the Lord of the Rings one, they had 20 to 25 unique cards per commander deck, sort of like cards that are titled and things from Lord of the Rings in those decks. For the Fallout ones, it's 35 to 40, which is the same amount as the Warhammer decks. So people are really excited about the Fallout decks.
Yeah.
You people and your you gatherers in the Magic the Gathering. It's all about Lorcana, folks. Bobby and me played over the weekend, and I'm kind of an expert now.
Okay.
moving down to highlights, games we have been playing that aren't Lorcana. Nick, the Kingdom is here, and you're for it.
Yeah,
Twice.
dude, I am totally for the
Twice.
kingdom now. Again. So
For the
I
king.
ended up for the king, as we say. So I ended up playing all of Act 1 again with my D&D group. We were supposed to play D&D on Wednesday, and then I was like, you know what, guys, I feel like shit still. I don't want to make a bunch of maps and stuff and write. Can we just play a game together? And then one of my players was like, "Oh, For the King 2 came out." I'm like, "Oh, sweet, thank God." Anyways, there is some big ups and big downs. For example, one thing that happened the first time I beat the first act, and there's 5 acts that are out right now. They're pretty long. The first act took us 4.5 hours.
Is the group still 3, Nick?
No, it's 4.
Oh,
It's
okay.
4. There's a lot of new things in the game, but a lot of things are kept the same. There's no more just attack and skip your turn. Everybody has a primary action and a secondary action, and there are classes that benefit immensely from having secondary actions because there's gear that will give you an extra secondary action, and it stacks. You can have like 5 secondary actions. A secondary action is like changing your weapon, moving, because now there's a grid system. It's a 2x4 grid system that you can move and you can position yourself to do things. The game itself is I believe $20 right now on sale. But the downs, I want to talk about the negatives first, only because the positives really outshine the negatives. The negative is that there are some bugs and almost game-breaking bugs. So, for example, in this game, it's a roguelike. When you die, you're expected to start another game and start this with new characters or whatever you unlock to be better at that act or whatever. And one of those unlocks is new characters, and some of the new characters are really fucking busted. And I'll talk about that later because I got to play one of them. But at the end of Act 1, apparently there's a bug that is known, but it's not very talked about that much, where when you fast forward the audio with the last boss, you can desync the game. And what that means is that one person cannot see what's going on at all. And if that's the host, you guys are fucked. You guys have to restart from the beginning of the dungeon. But if it's not the host, the person that gets desynced does not get the rewards for completing the act.
Ouch.
Which is the ability to unlock those new characters.
Did
So
that
you gotta
happen
listen
to
to
you?
the whole rant.
And that happened to us twice.
Wait, didn't learn the
Um,
first time? You know, George Bush famously said,
we
"Fool
didn't, we
me
didn't know what the
twice."
problem we
Yeah.
didn't know what the problem was. We were just like, oh, it just must be a bug. Let's try it again. And we tried it again. We beat it, and I was like, this has to be a known bug. Like, this is so big. This is such a big deal that this has to be a known bug. And I googled it, and I found like two Reddit posts about it, like 3 days before we played. And I'm like, God damn it, dude. Eventually, we did beat Act 1 and did not. We were like, nobody touched their mouse during this dialogue because you're gonna fucking fast forward it, and we're gonna, someone's gonna get fucked out of something. Eventually, we got all that fixed, and then I ended up playing with my D&D group, and I get to play one of the new classes, and it's Farmer. And all the classes are not like wizard or anything like that. They're all like jobs. Like, one's a woodcutter, one's a farmer, one's an alchemist.
It's like the
One
Give
people.
us a farmer accent for the rest of this segment.
I tell you what. Now, when I was playing that farmer, there are some busted attributes. Every class has a very unique mechanic. Okay, so for example, the medicine character is able to gather herbs passively, and they can also party heal.
You're so good, dude. Keep going.
But the farmer has a combat based ability. What he does is he summons a scarecrow, and what happens is if you stand next to the scarecrow, any damage that's dealt to you or anything that targets you targets a scarecrow.
Can I
So if
pet
you're
that
fighting
scarecrow? Can I pet that scarecrow?
Anyways, I'll switch back for the people that are clawing at
Tired
their
of-
ears. By the way, I had to even last night for D&D, I had to talk in a merfolk that was from the swamp, and
Can we
it was
hear a
a fun
little of
time.
that?
Can we hear it, Nick, please?
I was like, I tell you what, my daughter over there fancies you, and since you're one of them humans, you can go as long as you want because you just pay me as much gold as possible. And then they killed that guy for selling his daughter.
Wait, your Morfolk sounded also like your farmer? Is that what we're hearing?
It's hard to. Merfolks don't really have. They have a lisp most
That
of
was
the
going to
time.
be
apparently.
gurgly. I was expecting
Yeah,
a,
aren't they
a
underwater?
goigle.
No, they walk around and stuff. They can live underwater, but that's detracting from what's going on.
All right, I don't know what a merfolk is. Apparently, I'm just real.
It's basically a mermaid.
The new merfolk apparently in the now meta world of Magic the Gathering are Aztecs, which is really interesting.
Okay,
Because they are also in what's
but
that
they are
movie?
not underwater.
They live underwater, but they have buildings above water as well that they
Okay, yeah, sure. They
mess
want to be
around
part
in.
of our world.
I need a
get
button
it.
every time we loop around back to Magic the Gathering.
Stepped on
Like
such a good joke, dude. You stepped on such a good joke.
sorry.
Bobby's like, I'm gonna fucking murder you when I see you.
Dude.
Oh, Wakanda Forever. They also turned merfolk into Aztecs, dude. Well, Mayans, but yeah. This is all
it's
becoming a thing.
it's very interesting. But back to For the King 2, there are a lot of new mechanics. I don't want to spend 2 hours talking about them, only because we're trying to keep the show a little shorter. If you like For the King 1, check it out. If you like turn-based strategy games and you have 3 other friends to play with, check it out. I would not recommend playing this game solo, only because it's kind of dry. It's better when you are working together as a team. The story is not a story. It's really just like defeat bad guy, deliver this thing, only because
Sounds perfect.
the story is really supposed to be like what you do in the actual world.
Nice.
Well, I wouldn't play Helldivers 2 alone either because I tried it and it was a hellish nightmare. Dude. I got wrecked so hard, dude. But it's probably because of the mission that I picked. I picked Wave Survival, and I think that's set up.
That's
for
the
4
easiest
people.
one.
I think it's set up for 4 people, dude. Because there's no way. There was no way. It was just nonstop onslaught of big dudes. I don't know what I was way out of my depth. But anyway. We all played Helldivers 2, except for Bobby, because Bobby is Bobby. I like it a lot. I like it more than I thought I was going to. It's a third-person adventure shooter, I guess I would say. You, as the human race, are fighting against the AI. So the AI is making moves across the universe, and all of the humans, all the Helldiver players, are working together to push that back. It reminds me of PlanetSide and PlanetSide 2, but that was working against other humans on this planetary scale. Or this,
We're against Joel. We're against one guy, apparently.
Yeah, this guy Joel.
Yeah.
He's making the moves for the enemy. On our current map, it looks like the bugs are encroaching and the robots are pushed way back. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that
You
means...
have that completely backwards, by the way.
What do you mean?
So the robots are the ones that are not getting enough attention because everybody's playing bug missions because that's what they teach you on. And so everybody keeps playing the fucking bug missions and no one's playing the robot missions because they're also harder. And so the robots are advancing. The reclamation of the space for the robots is way less than it is for the bugs.
Oh, I thought all those like Lego blocks, how they're getting closer to Super Earth. I would think that would be a threat.
No. So, and that's the other thing is the ones that are like not shaded anymore, the ones that we've taken back, and there's a lot more not shaded ones for the bugs.
Oh, okay. Either way, there's 2 enemies, the bugs and the robots, and they play completely different. Nick's like, hey, it's a different game. And I was like, all right, whatever. We're just going to mow them down like we do the bugs. And then we get there, and it's a bunch of Terminators shooting laser rifles at us. And
You screamed.
Crazy. Yeah,
you screamed. They have guns. They have guns.
So the big selling point here is, first of all, everything works. Getting a group together, getting down on the planet, it all works. Everything looks nice. There's a couple glitches here and there where something will glitch out, but it's not game breaking. I like it because it's just like it's like a mixing pot for chaos. You threw 4 people in there and a bunch of AI things and guns and explosions, and everything can damage you. And so chaos ensues. Like in the middle of just like because you're constantly talking because things are happening all the time. So you'll just be, anything might have just been said, and then somebody steps out of mind. So it'll be like, I think we're doing pretty good here. And then boom, he no longer exists and his guts are everywhere. Or
Sniper. Because you were playing with us, what is one of the first things I told you about in the game?
Don't step on the spiky mines.
And what does Amelia do? This fucking first mission we do.
I don't like the aggression against Emilio right now because next time we play, I'm going to be the one stepping on the mines. Okay, let's get that straight. So,
then Nick's like, hey, if you want to kill these robot bases, you got to throw a grenade right through the window, and you can't fuck it up. And then we proceed to fuck it up. I don't know, 6, 7 times. And then Nick, he's like, let me show you how it's done. And he throws the grenade through the window. And then I try to do it at the same time, but I hit the wrong button and I dive into the building instead. And so his grenade exploded me. And so it's like a mix of action and a little bit of fear because you don't know what's going on, and a lot of comedy in a way. There's comedy. There's like a low level just hilarity that's happening from all the random shit that's going on. It reminds me of Spelunky a little bit, just because like so many explosives, so many, like it's like a Rube Goldberg machine of things that can happen that'll squash you. So it's fun. I'm having a great time with it.
So I actually ended up playing as much as Emilio, if not a tiny bit more. And I got to play at some of the higher difficulties. This game really does shine at the higher difficulties because even Sniper was like, do these bugs even do anything when we were on like easy? And I believe there's 9 difficulties. And I played up to level 4. But that's when you start seeing the more unique aspects of each creature. So for example, all the bugs, there are green versions that like shoot acid and stuff like that, or they have like more health. There are like black versions of the bugs that have more armor. Once you go even higher than that, you start seeing like giant bugs. Like you'll see bugs that are like 10 feet, 20 feet long, but once you get up in difficulty, they're like 80 feet tall and they're like massive. And so it becomes a lot more crazier then. The later in the game you go, the weaker your primary weapon becomes. Like it just really is just for killing the small things. Like you constantly have to rely on like orbital strikes and like air support and special weapons to really survive. So the further you go, the more varied the gameplay is. I got to play. So what you guys experienced with the robot, you saw 1/3 of all the robot enemies. Like, and so it's there's an incentive to continue playing.
I'm excited to keep playing.
The way the combat works.
Yeah, not just that, but like right now you have plenty of time to do the stratagems, which are these little codes you type in. You can think about it, you can look at your list, and you can execute. But I'm sure at the later difficulties, you're going to be panicked and trying to type these things in.
So you know those drop ships that we were seeing for the robot missions. Once you get to level 5, they don't stop coming. They literally just keep dropping over and over and over and over again. And so, like you said, you really had like it. Normally on the easier difficulties, you can just be like, "Oh, let's all of us call our shit in at once." No, you get like at the later difficulties, like you have to protect the person that's calling stuff in.
I also really liked that when I was in the menus, you could clearly see what I was seeing in the menu thing. And that's not very, usually the leader is just doing his own thing and there's no input. Here you can see what I'm doing and also like put in your 2 cents. Yeah, there's that. And I don't know why I can't get over this, but I think it's so funny that at the end of the mission, everybody does their victory pose, or you could just walk away from the shot. Like you could just, because you're already on the ship, you could just walk away from the victory pose, like da-na, da-na, here's our, and then some guy just walks off and doesn't take the victory. It's so funny.
That all the design of the game is very in universe. It kind of reminds me of like Deep Rock Galactic, where like it takes itself seriously in a way where like, yeah, all the UI, people can see the screens you're on. You know, there's The menus are these ships. Sorry, the menus are the menus are on the ship. You walk around and you go to the menu, kind of like Deep Rock Galactic, where you walk around that shared area when you're all in the same party. You know, I like that feel of being immersed in it. And here's my pitch to Bobby for this game. I think this game is more fun with roleplay. You know, I think if you go in there shouting
You're
about
telling Dwarf
democracy,
Paladin to roleplay?
I think it's a good pitch. I think it's a
You're
great.
barking
pitch.
up the wrong tree, dude.
You
Primarily
just
because
cemented
there's no-
Bobby not buying this game at all.
There's no
Well, is
dwarf
it-
paladin
what-
class
What's the
in
actual game
Helldivers.
like? Is it wave survival? Are you trying to go from point A to point B? Is there an objective you're trying to complete?
You'll like it, Bobby.
Yes.
It's a co-op game where you complete an objective with your friends. You know, it's exactly
So-
what you like.
It's all of those things,
I'll
Bobby.
answer Bobby's question. So what happens? There are different missions on a planet that everybody's trying to do. If you do them by yourself, you can have people join you randomly, but that's not the point here. Different mission types have different objectives. Like one is launch a nuke, or one's like reclaim the tower, the communication towers. Another one is destroy all the hives in the area and things like that.
Radio
whole-
towers, get the mines going, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, take an Earth sample. There's like, I think there's a total of 14 different mission types, but not only that, Bobby. Each mission has sub objectives, which are like reclaim the bio lab, or I don't know, destroy this special enemy that's really hard to fucking kill. And that also gives you more credit. And then there are like even minor things that you can find.
The
Like you
point
can
of
find like
interest.
these like underground bunkers that have stuff inside them, where you can get like the premium currency, and you can use that to buy the battle pass for free. And so it's really once the earlier levels, you can split up, you can do whatever you want, you can kind of dick around. Once you get to, from my understanding, because I have a friend that's like playing at the 6th difficulty right now, once you get to like the 5th and 6th difficulty, you're playing very seriously. Because your guns no longer kill shit in one hit. Your guns no longer even pierce armor. You
Well,
have to
imagine you're
specify.
upgrading your weapons and
Well,
gear and armor as you progress, right?
Correct. But the thing is, like, if you don't know what you're doing, because like this happened, and I'm not trying to call Days out. She's level 5, I believe, and she didn't know how to buy guns. Like she didn't know how to upgrade her guns or anything like that, or upgrade her character. She was playing with the light armor on, which is the first armor you get, but you can get heavy armor and take way more damage and take way more explosive stuff.
She probably
And so
went
it's like-
slower, I imagine.
Yeah, but the thing is like you kind of need a Sherpa in this game, because there is so much. There's a currency for upgrading your ship. There's a currency for upgrading your stratagems, which are like your airstrikes and stuff.
Okay.
There's a
I
currency
don't like
for
that. I don't like when games have like 12 different currencies.
Excuse me.
Only
They're not
one
currencies
is-
like they're paid, but what it is
Yeah.
like what it is like, oh, I need to upgrade my ship. I'm gonna go look for bio samples, and you'll find them everywhere.
Okay, so it's like resources that
Yeah,
you need
resources.
to. Okay.
It's like Deep
It's
Rock
just-
Galactic.
it's
There's a
like
lot of
Deep Rock
parallels.
Galactic.
There's
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
parallels.
Yeah,
Even
there
the-
is.
Is
we're-
it? Do they have classes?
Yes and no. So Amelia learned this very quickly. There are items that are just for support. There are items that are just for defense. It behooves you to equip similar items of that type. So, for example, when me and my buddy play, his name's Funkbot. When we play, he goes defensive. He gets sentry turrets. He gets sentry mortars. He gets like resupply stuff, and then he has one offensive thing. But the way I do it is that I bring all the explosives. I bring all the like the death stuff. And so when we're getting overrun, he'll start to deploy all of his shit. But when we have to attack an area, I'm blowing everything up. And so what ends up happening is like you'll start getting these things called boosters, and you'll start getting stratagems that upgrade certain things. So like you'll have a character or a person that is really good at calling in orbital strikes and like aircraft, or you'll have a character who's really good with small arms like the machine gun or like the rocket launcher and things like that. You'll have a character who's really good with the mech. There's a lot of things you can mix and match, but there's no
But there's
hard
no
lock.
hard classes.
There's no hard classes. It's very much like, okay, Bobby, you're bringing the machine gun. I'll bring the sniper rifle. Okay, like it's like there's always a niche to fill. once you get to the later difficulties.
I don't
When-
know if
when-
this was like necessary, but like when we were putting our stuff together, our stratagems, I announced that I was bringing the support pack, so only so that nobody else would equip it. But I
so
learned
it's just
quickly
based on
that
the gear
nobody
that
else
you
was
bring.
dumb enough to.
It kind of defines your roles. It's like
Yeah.
GTFO a little bit, but
Exactly. But the thing is, like, it's a lot more defined only because there's a lot more variance in enemies, that they're not just things that like crawl at you or just bullet sponges. There are
Mhm.
things that have to be dealt certain ways. Like, to blow up the nest, you have to have grenades. Maybe you want a guy who has 10 more grenades so that he can take out all of the nest, or he has a grenade launcher and things like that. What I will say are there are things in the game that the game does not tell you how to do or what to do. And my number one example is that I had unlocked this new thing. It's called the recoilless
Rifle.
gun, right? It's a giant gun. I mean, it's a giant rocket launcher essentially, and it says comes with support backpack. And I'm like, okay, do I need 2 people to operate this? It doesn't say anywhere in the game that you need 2 people to operate this, because you don't. What happens is if you equip the support backpack and the rocket launcher, when you shoot, you cannot move while you reload. Your character is locked in an animation reloading the thing, and you can get shot at, you can get ran over. There was a moment where I shot a rocket, I missed, and I'm yelling at Daze and Sniper to shoot this robot. I'm like, just fucking shoot, just shoot in the legs, like just do something.
We
And
saved your life that day. I was very proud of us.
You did. But the thing is, if someone else gets that backpack, and there's a lot of items like this, it's not just one thing that's like this. If someone else picks up the backpack, they can reload the rocket launcher for you, and it's 3 times as fast. So like you literally can stand like a turret, like me and Emilio can be on like a cliff, and we see all the aliens, and I'm just like, all right, you ready? And then what he does is he presses a button, and his character stands next to mine, and then we just start firing rockets. And so it becomes, the game is very complex when it comes to like the synergies that are in the game, only because there's so many ways to be synergized. So
I think
They
it's like
blew it out of the park.
easy. Yeah, it's easy to play, hard to master.
Hard to master. Yeah. Like everyone's talking about this game. So many people in our community are playing it. I have like 25 people on Steam who are playing it. Lots of people in our community are playing it. Like it is a cultural touchstone moment, Bobby, and we're just inviting you along for the ride.
I know. And then as soon as I buy it, everyone's going to be playing something else.
I don't think it's that type of game. Look, they
I
have
really
Joel.
don't think it is.
They have Joel,
I
the
think-
master strategy. They have
No,
all
dude,
this.
it doesn't matter how good any game is. People just move on. Like that's what happens. Think of all the games that got super popular recently, and everybody's.
No,
and then
no,
the
but-
PC Gamer article comes out and says like this
No.
game has lost 80% of its player base. It's like
You're not in it. You don't get it. You can't get it. You're hurting me with your
unless
words.
you've been there, dude.
You haven't been aboard the UES.
I'm sure I'll grab it at some point. I'm
You
just
don't
not-
have enough freedom or
That's right.
democracy
He doesn't-
coursing through your brain.
He doesn't. Okay, cool. I played a game with Bobby called Wingspan. But before I start Wingspan, Bobby, I would like to invite you to retell the joke that I stepped on. I didn't hear it. I don't know if anyone else heard it.
Oh my god.
Restate the context.
You know what makes jokes so funny is
Yeah.
going back and explaining them.
Yeah. Please, I'm invited. Please do it. Please.
No, because it was based off of something that somebody else said, and then I made a witty remark. Yeah, it was lost in the moment. You'll find it when you edit the show.
Here's your moment. Okay. I'll listen to it again. Wingspan. This is a relaxing bird sanctuary builder. Helldivers 2. Explosions, destruction, freedom, democracy. All these complex things moving around in the world. All very destructive. Wingspan is not like that. Wingspan is peaceful, and it's ported from a board game extremely well. I think it was on Tabletop Simulator for a little bit, and then they decided to make a real game that you can purchase on Steam. So that's what we were playing. There's 170 types of birds. They all have little bird factoids. You get the sense that you're learning a little bit about birds as you play. And then it'll drop like a depressing fact on you. It'll be like, oh, 95% of this bird's habitat was destroyed in 2001 and only 100 remain. And you're like, oh,
That's depressing as shit, dude.
that's good. Cool.
Well, at the least, you're learning their names. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, you are learning a lot, and when you click on the birds, they each do their own specific bird call, which I thought was cool, like a neat little thing they didn't have
That
to
is
add.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, not only what they're called, but like you'll hear something, you'll be like, "That's a northwestern fucking tamarack or whatever."
yeah.
You're gonna be bird genius after this, dude.
Yeah, yeah. The board game is really fun, but there's a certain charm about having it on Steam and all the points being automatically calculated, and
Makes it better, you think?
It kind of does make it better, other than the human connection, which all board games are really about at the end of the day. That is impossible to quantify online, I think. So
Do you think that's
Yep, go.
sorry?
Sure.
I'm gonna branch off for a second. Do you think that's why the game table has been popularized with like the TV monitor inside the touchscreen, like where you can play with the gaming aspect in
Yeah, it's the
person?
best of both worlds, right?
Yeah.
Because like I have a D&D group that plays that way, and then like they say it's the best thing in the world because like changing the terrain is instant and everything like that. Like you don't need somebody to get models, but you can still play with the models on the table and you're still reacting to everybody in person. I'm guessing like a game like this, or you get the calls and you get the info, and you can still keep things secret. Like that's another thing like that is like with those gaming tables, is that you have like things to partition things off. I wonder if that's probably the best way to play.
Nick, are you? I would imagine so. Nick, are you DMing a game on a virtual game
Tabletop right now? Yeah, we just play on Roll20, which is like the same system that we were playing earlier on,
But not in
but it's been
person.
upgraded. Not in person, no.
Right.
We have one person in Georgia, one person like an hour and a half away
Gotcha.
from us, and then it's me and Leslie. So
I would love to buy one of those tables for a board game, because you're right. You'll never get the bird calls on the board game version of this game. And I think that kind of adds to it. So I'm gonna go on a bit of a bird walk here, because what I really want to dive into. Hey, come on.
I tried not to laugh. By the way, I was holding myself back.
Thank you, Emilio, for laughing. I give you give me. Points system is multivariate, so there's 9 different ways to score, which is pretty complicated because on most strategy board games like this, you'll have like a victory point mechanic. So on Dune Imperium, which is another board game I've played, there are lots of ways to score on the board. You have your battles, you have your favor, you have your spice production. But you get to a certain point on the board and it's just like victory point, and then you add that to your pile, and it's like the first 1 to 5 wins. It simplifies it a lot. Wingspan isn't like that. Wingspan says, fuck simplification. You're going to get points for eggs. You're going to get points for feathers. There's going to be these special missions every round that you're going to have to complete. The end of the game has these bonus cards. You get points for stashing food on your birds. You get points for your birds killing other birds. There's a lot going on, and it can be pretty complicated. And
it's a little more like Civilization, where you can win by different factors.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, not quite, because it's not like you win one way. You add up all the points in each of these sections.
But I do like the bonus at the end, because that's how Mario Party is.
Mario Party,
yeah.
stars.
You'll be like, okay, I'm winning right now, but then fucking Mario Party comes out with all this wacky shit at the end, like whoever cried the most gets a star.
Yeah. You get a star.
Whoever moved the most squares gets a star. But you know what's funny is that like the people who take Mario Party way too seriously, they integrated options in the newest versions so that those bullshit things that happen randomly don't. So
Yeah,
it all comes down to the mini games.
That's part of the
like
charm
Smash
of the
Brothers.
game.
Who are
though.
these crazy people that take Mario Party seriously?
The same
They're
people
nut
that are
jobs.
going. The same people that are going to Disney Channel night in Disneyland that are partying to fucking super hardcore like music with their favorite Disney characters, which is a new thing now in Disneyland.
By
That's
the way, I'm
less
going
weird
to
than
Disney. Oh, I'm going to
competitive
Star
Mario
Wars
Party.
night, dude. I'm so stoked.
Nice. Awesome.
So the entire park is going to be Star Wars themed, and so all the rides are being redecorated in Star Wars theme for the entire park. And you can start drinking as soon as it starts. Is at 8 p.m. It goes till 2 a.m. And there's a lot less. There's no kids. I mean, there are, but very little kids. So it's just like you get to go on whatever you want whenever you
Bring
want.
your lightsaber, dude. You got to bring your
Didn't they say
lightsaber to
that
those
they're-
nights.
Didn't they say that they're limiting the amount of people total that can even attend? Like there's actually like a
we had
person limit.
We have to do some shady Mexican shit to even go.
Okay, back to Wingspan real quick. So there's all these different ways to score. The game is super replayable. A wonderful board game port. I don't know. What are these types of games called when they're on Steam? Do I just call them all board game ports? Like Dune Imperium has a board game port. This has a board game port. I'm for it. I think this is
I would
a
just say
good
digital version, maybe.
digital version, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
I like
Yeah.
board game port.
Board game
I
port.
know exactly what it is as soon as you said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of self-descriptive.
Yeah.
Okay, back to board game port. I'm like I'm like a bird on the wind, just wherever. Buy Wingspan and play with me. It was $9 over the
It all
weekend.
looks and sounds very pleasant as well.
Yeah. But I want to open the floor, Bobby, to any joke you might have or just your experience playing the game.
Or just words. Words.
I'll take words too. Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun actually. I really enjoyed this game. How long did our game take? It was
man.
it was a couple hours.
It was quite long.
It was probably like 2 hours. Of course, I was just learning, and it was 2 players, so we had AI. But I imagine with more, it would take longer. The game's a little intimidating at first. It's very daunting looking at the board. There's multiple boards and things to look at. The UI just doesn't really make sense and doesn't really match up with other games that I've played. So I was very confused at first. And the board just has so many icons, just all these icons all over the place in a grid. I didn't know what anything meant. But after you get about 1 round, 2 rounds through it, you start to realize what the game is about. The point system did confuse me too, because I just thought, okay, win each round, win the game. But that winning the rounds is a very small part of it. There's so many other things that you need to be aware of, and there's so many other ways to earn points. So,
Bobby, you needed more birds with wingspans over 65 centimeters, dude.
yeah, all my birds were too. I didn't have big birds.
Big
I had
birds.
a lot of small birds.
Yeah.
With a lot of eggs. I went in
Yeah.
mass production on the eggs, but it was not enough.
The egg rush. That was funny when you were talking about that. Your egg rush strat.
Yep. The game is very educational. It's trying to teach me. I don't care for that, but it's
I don't give a fuck about birds.
Yeah.
It's like an old Simpsons clip. Like, look it up. It's Bart's like playing a game, and he's like, "Wait a minute, this game's trying to teach me." But I don't know. That's how I feel every time a game is like trying to sneak something in like that.
Bobby, this game snuck another thing in for you. It caused you to sing.
Oh yeah, bird watching buddies.
Yeah, bird watching. But
I'm not going to sing it.
No, you're not going to sing it. Okay.
No.
If anyone else is watching American
I posted
Dad,
that. I posted that in the Discord. I think it's in. I don't know. It's somewhere in there.
yeah.
Figure it out, folks. All right.
Okay. Well, everyone else has gone to take care of their kids, I think, responsible dad life. But Bobby, you played Paladins and I joined for a little bit. What's that about?
Paladins, yeah. So this was just I literally saw Paladins on the front page of Steam, and I was like, all right, whatever, I'll play it. This game came out way back in 2016. It was in beta, and I remember playing it back then and wasn't really that impressed. But you have to remember 2016, this was the year that Overwatch came out. So Overwatch, Paladins, and Battleborn by Gearbox was coming out. And they were all kind of loosely the same type of game, at least in a very general sense. But then Overwatch eclipsed everything, and everybody forgot all about these other games. I don't even think Battleborn is around anymore, even though that was a pretty good game. Like, it was all right. But yeah, Paladins got kind of forgotten about because of that, and it eventually came out a few years later. This is by Hi-Rez, so the game looks a lot like Smite. The UI and everything about it, like the currency that you have to earn, you can watch ads to get the currency. All this stuff is very much just on brand for Hi-Rez. It feels just like Smite, but the actual gameplay feels a lot more like Overwatch with some MOBA qualities put into it. So you can customize your character. It's a game that just has a very simple objective. The games are like 10 minutes long. It's like push the cart, capture the point, things like that. 5 players on each side. Like it's the usual Overwatch formula. But you can customize your characters a little bit. They have a card system, and you can choose an ability, but the interesting thing is, so in MOBAs, they always have this shop, right? But the shops are just, they're so complicated and I never really enjoyed them. They take a while to learn. Like eventually I learned the Smite one and they changed it. Now I don't know what anything does.
They
But-
changed the shop on me.
Yeah, they changed it. Now I'm just like completely lost. And Dota, of course, just has a really complicated shop where you buy all these different items. You can combine them into other items and build your character a certain ways. But Paladins makes it super simple. They're just like, okay, buy this item and move 8% faster, and you can upgrade each item like 2 times. So it's just really simple. Just gets right down to the point. I love it when a game simplifies something, like rather than just like giving me this stupid item with like a paragraph of lore and then like this real lengthy wordy description of what it does, and then it can be combined with the other. It's just like, dude, get to the point. What does it do? Does it make me
Dude,
run
there is
faster?
lore in
Does it
this
give me more
game, though. There is fucking lore in this game.
I will say that I do like flavor text. You know, once you become a super fan of something, it's nice to have a little bit, but it shouldn't be up in front and center. It should be definitely obviously flavor, like magic
and
cards.
Smite is the worst about this. So the flavor text is usually like on a card. It's usually separate from the actual gameplay text. So it's there if you want to read it. But Smite, they describe an ability. Oh god, there was another game I was playing too that was even worse than this. I can't remember what it was, but Smite's pretty bad. Like they'll have like your first ability, call down the awesome powers of Zeus and cast a giant lightning bolt for 8 damage. It's just like, why don't you just tell me to shoot something in a line and does 8 damage, dude? Like I don't need a whole fucking synopsis of like what
You know
this
why?
thing does.
Because somewhere else there's another guy's be like, do you know what I did? I called down the powers of Zeus. And then I did 8 damage. I think for every Bobby there's a Cindy out there that
There's somebody playing a video game for the
Cindy.
first time.
I think Cindy has to come back as a character on the podcast a couple times.
and a
That's
name,
good-
dude. I haven't met a Cindy ever.
It's like an 80s name, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know any Cindy's. I used to work with one, but yeah.
Oh, Bobby,
I
what
don't know.
was the motivation behind this game? Like,
What do you
picking
mean?
it up?
I literally just saw it on the Steam page and was
Oh,
like,
nice.
sure, I'll check it out.
That's what it's there for.
Yeah, and at first I was
but we
playing
had
it.
played this, dude, when this originally came out.
Yeah, dude, I talked about all this.
No, I heard you. I mean, I
Okay.
can hear you the whole time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we played it back in 2016, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think in the 2016 environment, I don't think like anybody was that interested in this game. And at this point, I went in just very doubtful, like this isn't going to be very good. And at first, I didn't really like it. And then, like 2 hours into it, I was having a really good time, and I really got into it. It kind of sucks that the game does not let you out of the game at all. Once you start a mission, you're in it and you're stuck with that character. You can't switch characters. You can't forfeit the game. You can't even just like take a penalty and leave the game. You can like Alt F4 hard quit, exit the game. If you reload back into it, it's going to put you right back into that game. So you're kind of in game jail with this with
Game
Paladins.
jail.
But the
You
rounds,
mean you telling me you have to play the game?
the rounds are well, and it
There's-
sucks because some of the games it's just like, okay, these guys win. Like 2 minutes into the game, my team goes out and they just slaughter us, and it's just like, okay.
But dude,
And because
you
and
say
mo-
that. Sorry, keep going.
the games are short. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
like 10, 15 minutes, but it still sucks to be stuck in something for 10, 15 minutes when you know you're going to lose. Because MOBAs, they have that thing where if you start winning the early game, you're probably just going to landslide and win the late game. Because if you lost the early game, you probably don't have the skills to counter build and like the knowledge of the game to like correct your mistakes. And of course, Heroes of the Storm tried to put in comeback mechanics into a MOBA, and nobody liked that. That was not popular. So this game is kind of like that. Like your characters get stronger the better you do. You earn credits and you spend that in the shop, just like an item shop. But it's, I mean, it's not that bad. Like it still feels very casual, and it was actually a lot of fun. I
It was a
having
lot
good
of
time
fun.
playing it.
Dude,
I like how I could.
85%. The 85% with 340,000 reviews. That means it's super goddamn solid for sure.
Yeah. I liked, so I like Overwatch. I think Overwatch is fine. What I struggle with on Overwatch is if you didn't counter someone from the beginning and your team comp isn't proper, you're basically hooped. Whereas this game, you can spec into different items as the game goes on, and you can kind of change your strategy up depending on how the game is going, because you can also refund items for their complete cost. So you can be like, oh, this strategy isn't really working. Let me try something completely different. It's a little more dynamic, even though it's only 10 to 15 minutes long. It gives you different strategies to deal with the enemy, and it doesn't just make you feel like, fuck, I fucked up from character selection and now I can't do anything. There is lore in this game. So lore and auto battlers, ability battlers, sorry, is and MOBAs is funny. Like, obviously League of Legends knocked this out of the park with their lore, right? Like, we can all agree League of Legends lore is like the best MOBA lore that ever exists. I mean, they have TV shows, they have music, like musical acts that follow the lore in the game. But okay, have you guys ever seen lore like tiger species like Khajiit or whatever? Have you ever seen French of these in a game?
What do you?
It took me back. Like, the voice line for my Tigran character, it's like, ha ha, we are Tigrans. I was like, wait, what? Why are there French tigers in this game? I was like, is this a French developer? This makes no sense. I've never run across French tigers, I don't know.
That's why they came up with it, dude. They're like, you know what the gaming world's never seen?
French tigers,
French
yeah.
tigers.
And then I had this flavor text for my character. It's like, from the high jungles of the northern continent. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So
Mexican donkeys were pitched to, but they found it too racist.
yeah, it's maybe a little on the nose. Yeah, so French
Hey,
tigers.
fuck you, dude.
French tigers, completely successful. I really enjoyed that little extra bit of flavor. Yeah, Bobby, a little bit of flavor, not so bad. Did you hate the French tigers?
Dude, I'm glad you guys had fun with this game, dude. I'm stoked, actually.
It's pretty fun, man. I'll be honest. Like, I'm enjoying it. And while I was playing it, I thought for a while I couldn't find the ranked mode. And I thought, does this game not have a ranked mode? They're just like, whatever, casual mode for everybody. But we eventually found it. There is a ranked mode. I haven't tried it yet. I don't know if I want to take this game to that place, but I really do enjoy the games.
That dark place.
It's so interesting that you say, like, take it to that place, dude, because, like, I recently, like, it's beginning of last week, I started playing ranked Magic again, and yeah, it's a place, dude. It's a fucking place.
It's a different
Yeah,
it's a different game, dude.
Yeah, completely, man.
Yeah.
Like, I can't put it down all of a sudden. Now it's sweaty. Now it's a thing. Now I'm in the lab. Now, geez, yeah. But at least I'm not spending money.
That place can be a fun place to be, though, in some ways too. It can be rewarding.
Yeah, I mean, if you get really into the game, I just, who knows if I'm going to be playing this game in another week or two. It is free to play, which is cool. I mean, you can start playing Paladins right away. It's like 23 gigs. It's got some weird technical things going on, but it kind of ironed itself out. But Smite had that God pack. $30 you could get every single god, and every god from then on too, I believe. This has something similar. It's got various degrees of packs of characters you can buy. I think for $60 you can get almost all of them, and then a bunch of in-game credit for cosmetics and other characters. But it seems a little expensive, but it would take you a while to unlock a lot of characters. But they got free rotations and stuff. I don't know. That's the other thing about MOBAs that we all forgot about too. Like, they gate you on the characters that you can play. So to, like, effectively play the game or, like, be serious about the game, you got to spend some money or an incredible amount of time in it.
Well, they need to monetize. Like, I think I can respect that decision, especially if you unlock every future character. I feel like that's pretty cool.
Dude, if you have a free-to-play game that's online, that's 85%, like, yeah, they deserve any kind of money that goes towards them. That's not, like, obviously taking advantage of certain things.
Yeah, but I mean, Smite, $30 you get every god and everything else.
I think
Paladin,
that was that.
$60 you get a lot of the characters, not all of them.
If you like Smite so much, why don't you marry it? No, yeah, it's kind of steep. Nick, Emilio, something bad happened when we were playing Paladins, and I feel like I have to report it on the podcast. Bobby whispers to me, only a whisper, and he says, sometimes I miss Heroes of the Storm. And
he's still tied to it. We thought we severed him.
Yeah. Yeah,
I've
so
learned like getting a little philosophical here, but a lot of the times when you miss something like crazy, a lot of times you're missing the idea of the thing, not so much the thing. The thing was not that great. The idea of the thing, and because you generally focus on the best parts of it, but there was times you hated that game too, Bobby, for sure, and the
Yeah,
people you're playing with.
but I did, dude. When I went back to Heroes of the Storm like a year or two ago, it was a lot of fun, man. Like I started playing it, and I was just like, "This is great," dude. And it was great not only because I honestly think it's just a great game, but it Blizzard had kind of ignored it and let it do its own thing, and like there wasn't as many people playing it, and it wasn't as highly competitive, so people were just doing wacky stuff, and it was kind of fun again. It was fun playing it like that. I really enjoyed it. I can't spend that much time, man. MOBAs are like MMOs; they suck up your life. It's just I don't have the time in the day to do that, and if I do, it's just like, I mean, I'm 40 years old, man. Like video games are not a priority. They just can't be for me.
he's only on a gaming podcast. They're not a super priority. Okay, that's awesome. That was highlights games we've been playing. Now we're moving on to On the Radar, games that we're excited to play. And Bobby coming up with Star Wars, Blast from the Past.
Yeah, so I'm a little confused by this. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection is coming out on March 14th. This includes Battlefront 1 and 2 and all the bonus content and a bit of a graphical update. So what confuses me is we've already seen this. We have Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 for sale on Steam, $10 a piece. And I think I think it includes everything. I think it has a graphical update. Like I'm not sure, at least it runs on modern systems. So I'm not sure why they are selling this for $35.
It's
Um,
it's pretty steep, but I think they're doing that because they fixed the matchmaking from 32 players total to 64.
oh,
So
okay.
that's kind of
Yeah, I
fun.
did see that.
There's
So
not
I
a
didn't.
graphical overhaul.
I mean, I think there's a little bit, like there's probably 4K support, but it's probably not like high res textures and stuff like that, or like like they didn't redo anything. I don't know. I don't know the details, but
I don't know the details, but let me shit on them anyway.
I mean, I saw the pictures, man. I saw the pictures and I saw the trailer, and it looked exactly like the other games that are already on Steam. Like exactly. I couldn't tell a difference. Um, the yeah, so I don't know. I don't think I'll be picking this up. I was actually a little curious as to why it was coming out, but I did see the 64 player thing. I thought that was just normal and standard. And they did say that they modified some other stuff, like you can play certain game modes on different maps now that you couldn't before. So there are a few there's a few differences, but they're very specific and detailed. And I mean, unless you're like a hardcore fan of this series, I don't think most people would care much, but we'll see. I'll be curious to see how many people are playing this and when it comes out.
I I grew up on this game, both 1 and 2. Me and my brother hit this game hard, and we just finished Halo, and I was like, oh, yes, he's on the PlayStation 5. I'm on PC. Finally, we can play, There's no cross-platform support. I was like, what the heck? You're re-releasing this game for, yeah, $35 American, but $40 Canadian. I mean, $45 Canadian, sorry. I mean, that's not cheap. That's an expensive. That's like Helldivers was $40 Canadian. Like this is more than a new
It was 40
title.
bucks US. That's rare.
That is rare. Sometimes that happens. We get lucky. But yeah, like there's no cross. So that was disappointed because I was going to put this on the radar because I was going to pick it up, but with no cross-platform support, my main reason for playing it is kind of evaporated. So not for me. Sad.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'll be playing it. I'm just going to keep an eye on the player count and see how many people go for this. But yeah, I mean, who didn't like those games back in the day? But I don't know. I think this is a stretch.
Cool. Emilio, some dragons, some dogmaticism, maybe?
Yeah, it's coming out this month. Oh, I didn't put a link in there. Sorry. Dragon's Dogma 2 is coming out later out this month, the 21st. It's going to be $70. It comes from Capcom. It is the Sequel to a cult classic, Dragon's Dogma. It's one of those games that had a slow start and then picked up steam and became a cult classic. I guess that's exactly what that means, right? Where initially it doesn't have it. I'm sure anybody who's ever been a creator fucking hates being a cult classic because you don't make the big money at the very beginning. You just make smaller amounts of money later on. But I played it, but Dragon's Dogma 1, but I played it too late, unfortunately. It was already kind of after playing Skyrim and then going back to playing Dragon's Dogma 2, it just felt old. It could have been that I was being kind of biased towards Skyrim at the time. But anyway, a lot of people love that game. And so let me go through my punch list here. It looks and plays like modern Dragon's Dogma, which sounds like a lot of the fans, they're like, cool, they're not changing anything and they're just updating everything, which is what people want, That's what you want out of a sequel. Don't fuck it up, just add more. A new city and race is being introduced, and those are the beast people. Those are like human creature hybrids. The game's going to be 4 times bigger than the original. And then there's this weird mechanic where you can use monsters as tools. So you can't get across a chasm. You kill a fucking giant, and then that giant is the bridge across the chasm. Or can't get up this steep cliff, you grab a harpy's legs and she takes you to the top. Or you can ride a griffin. Things like that. Very, very strange. I did like the lead designer. He was talking about fast travel and how the only reason people fast travel is because travel is not fun. So they really focus on making travel fun and random encounters happening, as you go, and enticing you to take the roads as opposed to fast traveling. So all of this, and plus I've watched the video. You have 3 followers with you. Your relationship with them is important. Their fears, their motivations, that all comes into play into the story. There's 1,000 voiced characters in the game.
Wow, cool.
And they all have their own motivations and whatever they want to be doing. Some of them give you quests. Some of them just, they're looking out for themselves. Some of them, everything. There's 1,000. So it's fucking nuts. It's a gigantic game. I can't get anywhere near this, honestly, but it's exciting that something like that's coming out, especially for somebody who's a huge fan of the first one. So just an announcement, really.
Nice. I have a friend whose whole personality is Dragon's Dogma.
So there you go.
Yeah. And he was pretty excited about this. Okay. That's everything for On the Radar. Guys, we're going to guess that sound one day, right? Are we going to guess that sound? Can I guess that sound?
Can I guess that sound?
Can I guess that sound? Okay. Guys, there's $85 in the pot to guess that sound. We're so close to $100. It's crazy. I'm going to play the sound that you all have been guessing for all these weeks. It's a mystery. Here we go. That's it. That's all. What's it from? What's doing? What are its motivations? You can email pixelshitshow@gmail.com to guess. Patrons get 2 guesses, and at random I'll choose an answer. This week's answer is from Don. And Don says, it's a bullet ricochet from GoldenEye Source. So, I don't know, looking at your faces, do we think that's true? Do we think that's bad?
I don't know what
think that's
GoldenEye
correct.
Source is. I mean, I know GoldenEye, and Source, I'm assuming, is the Source engine.
Did somebody make GoldenEye in the Source engine?
It's a mod. It's a mod for GoldenEye in the Source engine. Yep. That's the guess. Yeah.
Dude, if that's the sound, I'm going to be so upset with you.
Bobby's gonna kill you.
Okay. Well, Dawn, did you get it right? Did you get it wrong? Only the sound will tell you. No, Dawn, it wasn't right. I'm sorry, but thank you for guessing. Next week, you will all get, of course, another chance to guess. Email pixelshitshow@gmail.com. $90 will be in the pot. That's exciting. The previous hints that Bobby, Nick, and Emilio have unlocked for you are First Person, Melee, Mod, Valve, and Crowbar. So use that to guess, and I'll see you next week. Emilio, hey.
By the way, no Crowbar in GoldenEye. Just don't waste your vote here, guys, or your guess. And Valve had nothing to do with GoldenEye Source.
Well, Christian is queuing guesses, so maybe this guess came in before that hint.
Could be.
I choose the guesses at random, so there is a chance that someone
Then
who
update
guesses
your guess if you send in something, but there's new hints coming out. I just don't want people. I want to know what it is. I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to give away $85.
I'm glad you're invested. Well, we're giving away $90. Hopefully you get it next week, guys. And thanks for all your guesses. Check the Discord. The Discord has a whole list of every single guess that has been guessed. So that can hopefully steer you in a proper direction.
In case
Emilio,
you didn't know, we have no idea what it is either.
Yeah,
It's
he
only
doesn't
Christian
tell us.
that knows.
Okay, on to subs and donos. Emilio.
Tag Loro, subscribe with Prime. They subscribed for 11 months. Thanks, homie.
Awesome tag. Thank you for
Whoa.
that. Is there an earthquake in California?
Yeah, somebody's moving giant furniture.
Okay.
Upstairs.
Okay. Listener questions, Bobby. What do we got?
We've got 2 listener questions this week. First one from Time Killer B. If you were professional wrestlers, what would your character and or gimmick be?
Boy, I feel like I would be a heel, right? My gimmick would probably be like cyberpunk, like I'd pretend that I have like robotic parts. But anyway, I'm not really a heel. I'm actually what's the opposite? What's the good guy called? I forgot what they're called.
I don't know.
Are
Fuck,
these
dude.
wrestling
Face?
terms? Brony?
Face? Yeah. You're either a heel or you're something. I don't know. But I'd be a secret like good guy. So I'd get in with the bad guys and then switch at the last moment. Yeah. There you go. That's what I would do.
I would be a bad guy, and I would be the chaos connoisseur, and I would do terrible things, and then everybody would hate me.
Wow.
Too
That's
vague. Too
intense.
vague.
The
Be
ex-
more specific.
The extra vertebrae monster.
The extra vertebrae.
The mutant.
That's the long back. I would be a bicycler, and I would bicycle around the arena. And
You should watch One Punch Man. That's definitely there's a character named Moomin Rider, and you're definitely him.
cool. I was
Is there
walking-
more than just season 1, Nick?
No, season 2's already out, and season 3's coming out next.
Are you
month, I
kidding me?
believe.
Is it? Where is it? Where can I find it?
I don't know, man. It's like Funimation.
My
Okay.
gimmick would be popping wheelies. I wouldn't be involved in that. And I'm like more of a cheerleader side act on the side. They're like wrestling. I'm popping wheelies with my bike. Yeah,
You're like a
Yeah.
side character. Like,
exactly.
Like did Paul Bear ever get in the ring?
Well, he got beat up a lot, right? Because like
I
people
don't-
would just
I don't
jump
know.
out and punch him.
Because I know he was like the Undertaker's buddy, but I don't know if he ever like actually got involved in the wrestling.
There's a lot of side characters that don't wrestle. They, like Amelia said, they just get beat up. Like Brock
Yeah.
Lesnar's quote unquote lawyer, and shit like that. Like that.
See, that's
that
what I
is
want to be, dude. I want to be like,
The support guy.
yeah. Like, has there ever been like an IT wrestler guy? I feel
That's
like
exact-
breaking
dude.
keyboards over someone's
Dude,
head.
what are you talking about, dude? I'm gonna be the fucking cyberpunk guy. I'm gonna need a fucking like hacker that like upgrades my parts, dude.
Ackerman sidekick?
Yeah,
It was
dude.
destiny. It was destiny. You guys got to get in the ring.
Like I'm down for the count, and you
Quit your
bust out your
jobs.
laptop and
Yeah.
like give me an upgrade that I need. I throw the guy off,
We
dude.
could-
You're throwing USB sticks in your ports. Here.
Nobody's throwing anything in
Downloading
any
new
of my
metal
ports.
chair.
Open the port. Open the port.
I'm
Okay.
surprised, like as cheesy as wrestling is, I'm surprised they haven't done something like that, where like all the lights turn off and like somebody appears on the screen and like I've hijacked the screen. I'm in control now. That kind of goofy
I'm sure
stuff.
they have. I would imagine every fucking plot line has had to have been explored by now. I'm guessing. I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Next question from Morconius. Nick, this is the one that he's had for a few weeks. But
3
now
weeks.
that Nick's here, he can answer it. So Morconius asks if you have seen the Kojima documentary yet. There's some interesting bits of information. Apparently, Sony agreed to fund Kojima without knowing what game he was going to make. I wish the documentary went a little deeper and included more about the Konami breakup.
Long answer short, I have not seen the documentary yet. I've heard a lot of things about it. I've heard good things and bad things. I will watch it. I'm getting a lot more free time as far as like being able to watch shit when I'm playing video games, only because I'm not playing super sweaty video games anymore. Or that much. As far as a Konami breakup, I guarantee you're not going to see anything about it for a long ass time, only because I believe he signed a super big NDA when he left. That was part of like him getting fired. In Japan, when you get fired, there are rules that the people that are firing you can impose upon you, and they are extremely detailed when it comes to privacy. So if they don't want you to say anything, they can pretty much make you so that you can't. As far as the Sony agreed to fund Kojima thing, that was something that was mentioned very small when they were like, we are now supporting Kojima Productions. And people didn't realize what that meant, where they were like, we are giving you an open check, and they're doing it again. Like they're not afraid to give him as much money as he needs. So yeah, that's my answer.
There's certain creators, man, that just get carte blanche, or as close to it as you can get. Like Tarantino gets pretty much whatever he wants.
We need to give the Spore guy, hey, someone out there with money, not me, not anyone here. Give the Spore guy millions of dollars. Just do it. Don't ask any questions, and let's see what that guy can come up with. Will Wright, right?
Will Wright. Christian, have you looked up that video that I told you, like the 10 Spore clones that whatever?
Yeah, by Gamer Zach. Yeah, I saw a bunch of them. Mm-hmm.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I looked. Lots of them seemed interesting, and it was kind of exactly what we said before, where they're only focused on like a couple phases of Spore. So.
Yeah. Hey, Bobby, I'm drunk, so I need you to check your inbox to make sure what I did is accurate before we go into the next episode.
My email?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Looks
Cool.
like I'm going to be playing Last Epoch this week.
Yeah, you are.
Folks.
So am I. So I didn't even mean to buy. I didn't want to spend $70 on games right now, but I bought myself a copy on accident. So yeah,
Sounds like we're never going to see Emilio at Helldivers again. That's the show. Yeah, that's the show for the week. See you guys next week. Abandonment titties.
That's funny.
So Last Epoch for me, I loved it when I played the demo. I thought it was the best skill tree maybe I'd ever seen. And it's blowing up. People love it. It's better than D4, other than graphics.
Oh my god, a game that's actually better than D4. What a low bar to hop.
I think Bobby's going to be blown away, and that's why I spent $35 on him.
Wow.
You know who I see one of our listeners playing this game all the time. A few of them, in fact.
Yeah.
So I know it's a popular game, but yeah, dude, I'm down to play this.
Cool. Bobby, Emilio, Last Epoch. I think I'm going to continue on the Helldivers 2 train, folks.
No, me too, dude. If I have my choice between
Helldivers.
these two games, it's going to be Helldivers. Like, I'm so down for it.
I
really enjoy it.
Nick led us fairly well. Not perfectly, but as well as he could. And I'm excited to explore more democracy.
You'll never see me in the fields of democracy again now. I'm kidding. But,
what are you playing?
I'll be playing Helldivers as well.
All right.
And For the King as well.
Cool. Okay.
All right.
Now we do the outro. Oh, Emilio, please do a Patreon plug if you could.
Sure. Oh, I thought I was going to read all the names or something. Patreon. That's how we keep the lights on. That's also how we throw a big party at the end of the year. We pocket very, very, very little cents on the dollar. We're just trying to fucking keep on keeping on. This podcast would continue with zero support, but it only gets better with support. So the more you pitch in, the better it gets, and the better time you have, because Discord gets better for you, and Discord is the best thing we've ever done. Speaking for Chris, dlgaming.net/Patreon or whatever. Click on the link, and you can also see a bunch of other stuff there.
Clean.
Clean CTA.
Speaking for Christian, Nick, Bobby, and myself, abandonment titties.
Stolen. Bye.
Bye.
We're going to be watching them birds.
God, it's funny because I haven't spent a lot of money on video games in a long time, and then